everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica and today we're doing a craft podcast. At the beginning of this year, I laid out some of my plans for this year, and one of those plans was to do a craft podcast every other month, so 6 for the year. It is currently September that I'm filming this, and I think I've done 2. So obviously I need to put a reminder on my phone to film these because honestly I just keep forgetting, and then sometimes my slots are just filled up with other videos and I can't. And I want to do them, I just keep forgetting, but I do have a lot of fun stuff coming up. So today we're going to take a look at everything I've been working on over the last several months, and then at the end of this we're going to do a coming soon section so you'll get a little bit of a hint about what's coming down the line, and I think you're going to love it. If you don't know what a craft podcast is, it's just where I share all the different things I've been working on, no matter what the craft is. I do a lot of different things. Today I mostly have yarny and fabricy crafts, but sometimes I have other things, so you just never know. Okay, so we're just going to dive right in. I'm going to start off with my knit and crochet projects. Okay, I'm going to start off with knit because I only have one thing that I've really been knitting on. Even though this time of year I really want to be knitting, I just haven't had time. But here is my little bag that I'm keeping it in. This is a Sherpa tote. This is a free tutorial here on YouTube. And I've got this cute little hand-dyed scarf on it. I think this came in my bunny box from Sprinkled Fibers. Okay, so this is the Boho blush shawl, and I've actually shown this in my previous podcast, and I haven't made a whole lot of progress on it, but I did want to share it because even though it doesn't look like progress, I actually ripped out some because I didn't like the color that I had added. So I ripped out probably about this much, maybe an inch or so, and then had to re-knit all that. But here's my progress on it so far. It's got a little brio section in the front, which was the first time I've ever done it. And then it has some yarn overs, like a lace section. And then now I'm just on a garter section, which is really super easy. This yarn is so pretty. It's from Sprinkled Fibers, and it's a mix of yarn from a bunny box I got from them, and then also I ordered last year's Advent from them, and so I'm just mixing and matching all the pinks, and then I'm doing it on my Like needles. I never know how to say those. They are the wooden needles in the blush colorway, and then I have cute little llamas for my stitch stoppers. So these are really cute. I love having fun stitch stoppers, plus they're functional. And I'm basically just using mini skeins, so they just look like this, and then I'm just adding whatever color I feel like is gonna look good next. And I kind of weave it in, so I'll do one row of the new color, one row of the old color, and I'll do that for a few rounds, and then I'll just move strictly to the new color. And so it's just kind of fading. I feel like I'm doing a decent job. I'm making it up as I go, so I think it looks good. And I just want to show you the fabric on the inside of this bag because it's so adorable. This was called Sophie by, I think this is by Brenda Riddle Designs. This has been in my stash for a long time, and then I just used it when I made this cute tote bag. Okay, next up is some crochet projects that I have, and these are going to be tutorials coming soon, and I just have to do a lot of prep work for them first. So the first one I'm going to show you is going to be a pillow. So this is going to be coming really soon because these panels are done. But I've basically made 2 panels that are, here's the second one, that are 20 rounds each, and you can make these as big or as small as you want. You could actually just finish right here and use it as like a little doily on a table, but I am actually going to sew the 2 of them together, the 2 panels together, and then I'll have a cute little pillow for my sewing room. And then I just measure my panels. So these ones are about 17 inches and they'll stretch. So I think I can fit a 18-inch pillow form inside. You can make them even larger. I thought about doing a couple more rounds and putting a 20-inch pillow insert in there because I think that's the size I used for all of our Quilty pillows last year. So I already have the insert. And what I'm going to do then is just take a white probably, and I'll stitch these together. I'm going to do a cute little decorative border. I'll have a tutorial for that here on YouTube coming soon, and then I'll have a cute little pillow to add to my sewing room. So I think this is going to be really fun. You could actually keep going and just add as many rounds as you want and make a whole blanket that looks this way, or a little throw, or kind of anything you want. You know, something to just toss on your bed that would be really cute. So, but I'm going to do pillows. So that's my first one. And I just finished those 2 panels. So now I just need to film the YouTube video for joining them up and turning them into a pillow. The other thing I did, so I've just been having fun with granny squares, is I made some smaller ones. These ones are 15 rounds, and I'll just drop them as we go here. So here's 1, 2, 3, And then this one doesn't match as good. This is 4 and I didn't have any of that denim in it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use this for this project or not, but I'm going to be making a bag out of these. So either I'm going to put this on the bottom of the bag because it doesn't match the other ones, or I'm going to use this for something else and I'll just make 2 more of these. But basically you're going to need 5 panels that are the same size for this bag, and you can make it any size you want. I might make a big one that's about this big, and then I might do a little small one just to show you how to make the bag, but in a smaller form, because I think that would be really cute as well. So this is going to be a bag project. This will be coming soon as well. For both of these projects, I am using Lori Holt chunky thread, mainly because it's just a cotton yarn and I like all the colors available. But the other one that I was considering using was a Hobie yarn. They have a lot of the same colors. They have a cotton skeins, they're smaller skeins, and I think they're a little bit less expensive as well. So probably I'll use up the rest of my Lori Holt yarn, and then for future projects I'll probably move over to that Hobie yarn, or Hobby. It's Hobii. I can't remember how you say it, but anyway, colors are super fun. So 2 granny square projects coming soon, and then the next project that I have coming soon, and this is a sneak peek, so I'm not going to tell you what it's going to be. Well, I'll tell you it's going to be a blanket or an Afghan, but I'm not going to tell you how I'm going to use it. So I've been busy making a bunch of, this whole basket is filled with a bunch of tiny little granny squares. So these are 3 rounds, so 1, 2, 3, so they finish at about 3 inches each, and I just have a ton of different colors in here, and then I'm making a bunch of white. The white I'm going to be using for kind of the main color, shall we say. And then all of the colors are going to be the little accent colors. So this is a lot of fun, but I do have a lot of them to make, so I'm just making as many as my skeins will allow. That's allowing me to use up all of my leftover Lori Holt yarn. And then once I'm done with those, I'm going to put this all together and I'll show you how to do that. So that will be a YouTube video coming soon. But I did want to share my progress because I've been making a lot of these little guys. They're really fun. You can make one in honestly not very long, like maybe 15 minutes or something. Might even be less. I haven't really timed myself. So how I've been doing it is whenever I go to my knit group, which we're usually there for about an hour to an hour and a half, it kind of depends on the day, but I'll bring one of my little skeins. These are 50 grams or 140 yards. It's basically, it says it's a 2-weight, but honestly, I think it's more of a little bit of a fingering weight. I think it's thinner than what it says on the package, but that's just me. And then I just sit there and crochet, and I can get about, I think I can get 12 out of one of those skeins. So I just go until I run out and I don't have enough to do any more with, and then I'll just switch to the next color. And I can usually do a whole skein while we're sitting there. So it's pretty fast to make these little guys. Like I said, they're only 3 rounds and you don't have to change colors. And I do have a tutorial on how to make a single color granny square here on YouTube as well if you don't know how to do that. But so these are really fast, and I can't wait to show you this project because it's going to be so cute. So in the meantime, I'm just going to keep making these until I run out of colors. The other thing that I made this year, and I do have a tutorial for it here on YouTube, I'm going to have a tutorial for almost everything that I'm showing here, but is this chunky crochet throw. I can't fit it all on camera, but look at that texture. Oh my gosh. I love this blanket so much. It was so much fun to work on. It's super soft and squishy and cozy. Just look at that texture. And then it's got a cute ribbed looking border along the sides and along the top and bottom. So I used the big twist yarn from Joann's for this blanket, and I know Joann's is no longer, which is really sad. There's been several things that I've needed and haven't been able to go, so it's such a bummer. But I was in Michael's the other day, and they do have this brand of yarn. They did pick it up from Joann when they closed, and so I didn't see, they had a bunch of different colors. I don't know if they had the gray or not, but they had a ton of colors, and it was the exact same yarn. So they've picked it up, and I've also seen it on Amazon as well. So if you haven't made this yet, or you're interested and you want to use the same yarn I did, I would look at Michael's or Amazon. And again, it was the big twist. All the information is in the video tutorial and the pattern on my shop and here on YouTube as well. So that was really fun, and I wanted to share that because it's so cozy, and we are entering into cozy season right now. I love fall. All our leaves are changing, and so I love knitting and crochet during this season. I don't do it as much during the summer. Those little granny squares are easy to work on in the summer because they're lightweight and they're not like heavy, but something like that blanket, I really have to be doing that during fall and cool. Otherwise, I just will like overheat immediately if I'm trying to do that that during the summer. Okay, and then the next thing isn't a project, but I want to share it because I've been wanting one of these baskets for such a long time, but I finally got one of the handmade baskets from Ghana, and we have a farmer's market here where I live, and every Saturday they have the basket booth, and we're usually going to a movie or something else there, and by the time I see them, they're tearing down the booth. So I finally put a reminder on my phone to go specifically to get one of these baskets, and they actually had a color. This was the color that I actually wanted. It looks probably black on camera, but it's actually like a navy blue and the natural. So it's really cute. It is the smaller one. I've got some yarn in there already for upcoming project. This is actually a little bit of a sneak peek. I think I'm gonna be doing knit ornaments this year. Last year I did a bunch of crochet ornaments, and so I'm gonna swap over and do knit this year, just to give you guys a little bit of variety. This wool in here is let me see if I can find one that has a band on it. This is the Shepgees, I don't know how to say it, but anyways, stonewash wool. I got mine from Jimmy Bean's Wool. They sell it in a variety of different colors. I need to get a natural to go with these. These are some of the ones I used for my mittens last year. So this is upcoming project, but I really want to show you this cute little basket. And the other thing was, it was super kind of crazy looking when I handed it to her, and she had a thing of water there. She dunked it, soaked it in water, and then shook it out, and then just reformed it for me, kind of shook it so it, you know, wasn't dripping wet, and then gave it to me, and now it's just like a perfect little round basket. And she said a lot of people don't realize that you can do that. So if you have one of these baskets and you've just had stuff in it and it's gotten misshapen, you can just dump it in cold water, dunk it completely. Like she had a plastic bin full of water and she dumped the entire thing, submerged it, and then shook it out, and then just reformed it, shook it again to get all the excess water out, and then just let it dry, and it goes back to shape. So she's like, you can do that as many times as you need to. The baskets will just constantly be able to be reshaped. So I thought that was interesting, and I thought I'd pass it on, but I'm really excited that I finally got one of these. And if you're curious about size, this particular one is about 10 inches in diameter, I think. I mean, it's kind of hard to measure here on my thing, but that's about what it is. And I think this is perfect for smaller projects like hats, socks. My little ornaments are going to fit perfect in here. You could not fit a sweater in here, maybe a shawl and ornaments and stuff like that. But anyways, super cute. So I just wanted to share that. And that's all I have for my knit and crochet section. Let's go ahead and move on to cross stitch. So I'm going to share a little bit of a sneak peek, not the whole thing, but you know we are working on the 2025 Sew With Me series, and we're also doing cross stitch version. And then we have our 2025 Topper series also in cross stitch version. So mine are all done. Obviously I have to work ahead of you guys. So I'm going to kind of show you how can I do this without showing? Okay, so I'm going to use one of my patterns to kind of hide the ones that are done, but here is our progress so far for our 2023 Stitchy project. I will share how I finish this off once we get to block number 12, and I'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek for October. Anyway, so that one is the progress for that. I think they turned out really, really cute. The quilt is adorable. I think you guys are going to love that one. And then we also are working on our toppers, and here is our topper progress. And so that is January through September there as well. So this has been so much fun. I'm not 100% sure I love how I finished this. So this might not be what it looks like when we get to the very end of the year. I might undo it a little bit because my ribbon here is not allowing the background to show through like I thought. I should have cut my background a little bit bigger if I was going to put this ribbon on here. So I don't know if I'm going to leave that or not, or if I might try and take it off. I guess just based on what you can see, let me know what you think, if I should take it's hot glued on there, but I mean, you know, hot glue is semi-temporary, so I could pick that off there, rip this ribbon off, and maybe put something else on there. So that might be what I'm going to do, but leave me a comment below letting me know what you think about that. And if you have any fun ideas on what to add maybe around this edge, I do have some red and white cording that might be a little bit better because it would run right along this edge instead of stick out like this ribbon is sticking out. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but that's our progress for our topper series and our Sew With Me series. So that's a lot of fun. And then of course, don't forget to share your progress in our Sew With Me group on Facebook for any of this stuff. It's the place where we can all share, encourage each other, and see what everybody has going on. Okay, I have a little bit more cross stitch, but I'm going to save it for the coming soon section because you can probably guess what it is, but we do have ornaments coming for this year. And so I'm in the process of working on those now, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in our coming soon section. Let's go ahead and move on to what I've been sewing. Okay, so we have a lot of fun, smaller projects that I've done so far this year. So the first one is our little oven mitts. Hopefully you all have seen this, and these are all tutorials here on YouTube. So I'm not gonna say it at the end of every single thing I show here, but they are all free tutorials I have here on YouTube, and then you can get the patterns in my store if you prefer a written pattern. So here are the little pot holders that I did, and these I did in July. Obviously I used my leftover Heartland fabric for them. I think they turned out really, really cute. I am thinking about remaking these also in my Christmas fabric, because I think with the stars are always Christmas too for me. So I think this would be really cute to have in my kitchen for the holidays as well. So this is on my to sew list, only a holiday version of them. So those are super cute. The next thing I released are these makeup bags. This one is a patchwork makeup bag. This has 3 different sizes in the tutorial. I'll put up a picture here so you can see all 3 different sizes. And I used my leftover fabric from my line. It's a variety of different lines that I've released. So this one was really fun. And these are really fast to make. They also make great gifts. So if you're looking for something for the holidays, putting this with like maybe a little gift basket full of like makeup or art supplies or something like that would be a really cute addition. And you can really make one of these in an afternoon. They're very, very quick to make. So quilted makeup bags is what they're called if you're looking for the tutorial. The next thing we made were the mini weekend tote. And this is a small version of the larger weekend tote. I have 2 different weekend tote patterns. So I have one that is open like this, where you have these little ties and you can just tie it together. There's a pocket inside, super cute. So I have the regular size version and this mini version, but then I also have a zipper one because a lot of people had asked for a zipper tote. So I have a zipper tote in the large size and the mini size as well. So it's about the same as this guy. This one's about 13 inches wide. It's about 4.5 inches on the side, and then it's about 11 inches tall. Some of that depends on your seam allowance and your binding and things like that, but that's the general size of it. If you're looking for this pattern, this one is called the mini weekend tote. I also have the regular weekend tote and the zipper weekend tote and the mini zipper weekend tote. So you can check all those out. I think if you search my channel for weekend tote, you'll find them all. The other bag pattern I did this year was this one. This is my Heartland tote, and this used the leftovers from my Heartland collection and the Heartland quilt, and I have a cute little flag charm on it. It's about 5 by 14 and it's about 13 inches tall. So it's a really good sized tote, perfect for bringing projects to a craft night. It's also really good for if you're traveling or going to the grocery store, although I don't think I'd want to put food in it because I wouldn't want to get mine dirty. But if you're traveling, this is a great just tote that you can just sling over your shoulder and put all your stuff in. You could also add some little ties on here if you wanted to have something to secure it, or you could even add like an inset zipper. If you go back and look at my tulip tote pattern, I do have an inset zipper, which I think would work really good on this if you want to look for a way to keep it closed. I personally like to have some of my tote bags that are just open. I can shove stuff in, toss it over my shoulder, and go. So that is the Heartland tote. This one is probably one of my favorites just because I love patriotic, and these little pinwheels, it was super easy to put together, and it just took me an afternoon. Okay, now we're gonna go through some quilts, and I'm actually gonna scoot over because I am going to just put them on the screen here so that you can see them, so that I don't have to go get them all. They're all over my house. So the first one I'm gonna show you is the Heartland quilt that matches the tote I just showed you. This one is really cute. It had cute houses with little cherries on the side. Cherry pie and apple pie always scream patriotic to me, so I put little cherries on the side of it. I alternated the houses with Ohio Star flag blocks. They're fast and easy to put together. They're a lot of fun, super patriotic. I used my Heartland collection for this one, and I used a low volume from the Heartland collection for the background. So I'm loving adding those low volumes in. I think it makes it just extra squishy and fun, and it gives a little bit of extra dimension and texture to it as well. So I love it so much. The Heartland quilt finished at 74 by 82, so it's a good size quilt. It's actually still up on my quilt ladder, even though it is fall, because I love it so much. The other pattern I released for that collection is the Starlight pattern. This one was a more traditional sawtooth star style pattern. I love this one so much. Whenever I don't do a whole lot of one block quilts, although next year that is on my list of things to do, but when I'm doing them, it's like I get bored making the same block over and over again, but then as soon as I put the quilts together, I love them so much. They just have a traditional vibe that I do really like about them, and then if you add in fun new colors, they just sort of come alive, and so I love this one. Starlight's finishing at 74 by 86. Again, I used my Heartland fabric for it and that low volume as well. So that one was so much fun. I loved making it. Actually, it went together really fast. It also has the pinwheel Irish chain in it, which was from my Peppermint Pines quilt. I thought I would use that again because I loved it so much. The pinwheels and the stars together really were giving me patriotic vibes. And I think I'm gonna stick with maybe that pinwheel chain and do a couple other seasons with that as well. So you can look forward to those coming next year. The next quilt I did, and this was actually on slate for last year, I just couldn't get it done in time, but I ended up getting it done this year, was my limoncello quilt. This one was so much fun to make. Perfect for summer. I used a variety of fabrics from my previous lines in there, and I did have to add in a yellow from a fig tree line because I don't have any yellow in my lines. I don't use yellow a whole lot, but I did need it for the lemons in this one. So I had to substitute in a little bit of yellow for that. But I thought the blocks turned out really well. We alternated mason jars with lemonade or limoncello inside and then the fruit blocks. And then I just did a cute sashing for it. The sashing was all strip piece, so it went really, really fast. And I think it just frames each of the blocks really cute. And then we did do a wider outer border on that. I love borders. I know there's some people who don't like them, but I personally love borders. I think it just frames whatever's on the inside of your quilt really well. And whenever I don't do borders, I just feel like it's a little bit incomplete. I mean, it depends on the quilt. I was not going to do a border on the Starlight quilt, and it just did not feel done to me. And so I did end up adding some borders to that. And it's just kind of a finish for me. So if you don't like borders, totally fine. You could always remove them from any of the quilts that I put out, but I just love adding them. I think it just frames everything nicely. And then it also helps make your quilt a little bit larger for like if you're going to put it on a bed or something like that. So I'm team border. Let me know in the comments below if you're team border or team no border. And the most recent quilt I put out was Poppy's Pumpkin Patch. Poppy was what my kids called my dad, and so that was just a little ode to Poppy there. But also I love pumpkins and fall quilts. You all know this. I put one out every year. It features cute little wheelbarrows with a pumpkin and a leaf inside. And then we also alternated those blocks with a little cottage, a little fall cottage. So I thought that was a lot of fun. And then for the sashing, I just did regular background color, and then I added in little mini pumpkins at the cornerstones just to add a few more little pumpkins in and make it extra special. And then you'll notice that outer border is a little bit different than other quilts as well. The green extends all the way to the outside edges, and then in each corner there is a leaf. This pattern is part of a series where they all have the same basic layout. So they all have that outer border that extends all the way to the end, a cute motif in all four corners, and then the same general layout for the inside of the quilt as well. So it started off with Franny's Tree Farm, and I love that one so much I decided to make it into a seasonal layout. And so I also did a Hearts in Bloom pattern, which was a February inspired pattern with hearts. And then I also have Poppy's Pumpkin Patch now. Next year I already have designed is a patriotic version, which is going to be really cute. And then I think we'll do a summer version of that as well because I have some ideas for that. The other thing I was thinking about doing, and let me know in the comments below what you think, but I was also thinking about doing a winter version because I have a lot of Christmas stuff, but then as soon as January rolls around, I want to get rid of that red and green, and I want to have, you know, blues and just cooler tones. So I'm thinking about doing a winter, not Christmas, but like a snowflake winter type thing. So let me know if that sounds like something you would like in the comments below. Okay, and then I don't want to forget the other two quilts that we've been all working on together this year. So the first one is the 2025 Sew With Me series. We have 9 blocks done so far. October's block will be coming soon, and I am just having so much fun with that. I love seeing all of your progress in our Sew With Me group on Facebook as well, and I can't wait for you guys to see the finished layout. I think you're going to really love it. The other one, of course, we're working on is our 2025 Topper series. Those are our seasonal series that we do every year. We've done Trucks of the Month, Houses of the Month, Pillows of the Month. This year we're doing Toppers of the Month. They're intended to be table toppers for your, like, you know, a coffee table or a kitchen table or maybe a kitchen island. Or you can also hang them on your wall as minis. Most of mine I've just hung on my wall as minis because I don't want them to get dirty. And they also are finishing at 20 by 20. So theoretically you could also make those into pillows like we did last year. So there's a lot of flexibility with those toppers of the month that we've been working on. So we've got 9 of them, and I am just going to be rolling through the photos here as I'm talking so you can see all of the progress that we have made on those so far. The other thing you could do is remove the outer borders on all of these and just take that center block. They all finish, I think they finish at 12 by 12. I think they all do. And you can make them into a quilt. The May one, you'd have to just do 2 of the flowers, and same with the September, you'd have to just pick 2 of the blocks. But you could put those together, trim them down to 12 by 12, and put them all into a seasonal quilt, which I think would be really fun too. So stay tuned for the rest of those coming this year. And don't forget to post your progress in our Sew With Me group on Facebook. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the fabric lunches that I did this year. I was going to originally try and do 4 lines this year, but I think I'm only gonna do 3 because I opted out of the fall line. I was just so busy, didn't have time to do it all. And then truthfully, it's a lot of work for my family, so I thought I would give them a little bit of a break, and myself as well. So the first line I put out this year was called Sew Quilty. It was for the Sew Quilty quilt. It's a sewing themed inspired line, but not too like kitschy cutesy. I wanted it to have the sewing theme vibe, but not just be like, I don't love like super cutesy fabric. It kind of depends on what I'm doing. If I'm making an apron, super cute fabric, I'm there for it. This one does have sewing machines on it and pin cushions, so I do have the vibe in there, but there's a lot of florals. I'll put up an image here so that you can see these laid out a little bit better. There's a lot of florals. There's some scissors. So I think I did a good job with what I wanted to convey. So it feels like it's a sewing theme line, but it's not like too over the top sewing. So this one was a lot of fun. It is sold out now. If you don't know, we do all of our fabric in-house. So I do have someone print it. They ship all the bolts to me, and then we have to cut it all, fold it all, package it all, and ship it all. So it's a lot of work for my family to do it that way. So I mean, if Moda and Riley Blake want to pick me up, you know, I would probably be okay with that at this point because it is a lot of work to do this. The next line I put out was my Heartland line. This was actually one of my favorite lines, and I've used a lot of these prints in other things because red, white, and blue together is patriotic, but you can take any of these and add them into another quilt and have it not be so patriotic. So that is what I loved about this line. I did cherries. Like I said, when I did my Heartland quilt, I wanted there to be cherries. That gives me patriotic vibes. So I did some cherries and a lot of florals, ginghams, of course. This line came out with 2 cute little stickers that came with the kits if you purchased the kits. So that was a lot of fun. And this is probably, and I think it will stay, one of my all-time favorite quilts and favorite lines of fabric. So I love patriotic. Every year it's like, bring out all the red, white, and blue. So those are the 2 lines I have done so far this year. Let's go ahead and move into coming soon because I've had to stop myself a lot as I've been talking today to give you sneak peeks of things that are coming down the pike. So if you know me at all, you know there's a lot of holiday content coming your way. One of the things I already gave a little bit of sneak peek for is some knit ornaments, and I think those are going to be really cute. Again, I'm going to be using that sheep geese wool for those because it's just cozy, soft, and it has a little bit of a halo to it, which I think is really cute. And I also love that it's stone washed, so it gives it a little bit of dimension as well. So you can look forward to those coming soon. Now, I've had a lot of questions about this, and I'm sure you guys already know, but I do have a holiday line of fabric coming soon. That will include a quilt pattern, which is adorable. I think you guys are really gonna like it. It's so cute. It's gonna be one of my favorites, I know for sure. It goes really quickly, so if you're looking for a fun holiday project, I think it's something you could get done before Christmas if you really wanted to. If not, you could always work on it throughout next year and have it for next holiday. That will be coming soon. I am hoping for a little bit later in October for release for that, so stay tuned for that. So holiday line of fabric and holiday quilt pattern. The other thing that's coming is our annual ornaments. So we have done cross stitch and quilt ornaments for the last several years. Last year I did the nutcracker ornaments and they were just a little more complicated, so I did not do quilty versions of those, but I am planning to do quilty versions of this year. Those are going to be finishing at about 4 inches each, so they'll be a good size. The stitchy ornaments will be finishing similar to the size from last year, so they're about 2.5 inches in diameter, I believe. And the other thing we're going to be doing this year is last year we did stitchy kits, but I only did the pattern, the fabric, the floss, and I threw a bag and I threw in a couple little extras. This year we're actually going to be doing a full kit, which includes everything, including all of the finishing supplies. They're sitting right here. They just got in, so hopefully you guys are going to like that. And Let me know in the comments below what you think about that idea. It does make the kit a little bit more expensive. However, you're gonna get the pattern, the bag, finishing them on. I don't wanna say too much, but the item I'm finishing them on, you're gonna get your fabric, you're gonna get the ribbon I used to finish it, and then you're going to get all the floss. I have some other cute little, I don't wanna give them away just yet, but I have some other cute little notions that I added in the bag as well. So it's gonna be like a full kit. You're not gonna be needing anything else to finish these. And let me know in the comments below if you prefer that, and if you do and these sell well, then maybe we'll do that going forward. Normally I don't add in the finishing items because I know people might want to finish them a little bit differently than I do. However, every year we get a lot of questions on, you know, things are sold out or they can't get the things that I finished. I always put links on where you can get them in the videos, but a lot of times they sell out, or you know, they just can't find them in their area or whatever. So I thought this year we would do just a full kit of everything that you need, and then that way you have everything. You don't have to go out and try and find some way to finish off all your little ornaments. So let me know in the comments below if that's going to be something that you're interested in purchasing. They are limited quantity, partially because again, we fulfill all those here in person, like all the stuff came in and I have to separate it all out and put it all into kits for you guys. And then I also have a lot of other holiday things coming soon. I will give you a quick sneak peek on the fabric. This is printed on my printer. Keep in mind, it's not a good printer, so it's just a sneak peek. The fabric is going to be 100,000 times cuter than this, but I did want to give you just a little bit of a hint of what's coming your way. So here you go. Okay. Quick little sneak peek there for the fabric line coming. That gives you a little bit of idea of all the colors that are going to be in the kit, and then also the kind of vibe that's happening as well. And that might even give you a little sneak peek of what the quilt's going to be too. And then just because I know we'll ask, we will be having a 2025 Sew With Me next year as well. All that information will be coming closer to January. And then I do have a sew along starting in January as well, but more information will be coming on that. You're not gonna wanna miss this one. It's probably my favorite thing I have designed to date. All right, that is gonna be it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this craft podcast. Don't forget to join our Sew With Me group on Facebook. It's a private group where you can share your projects. You can see what other people are working on as well. So it's a lot of fun in that space. I also do giveaways, and we just run fun things in that group just for the members of that group as well. So if you haven't already, make sure you join us over on Facebook. That's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, be quiet, lay down. Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh, the dogs are losing their minds right now. I might have to put them outside. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to start off with crochet, knit and crochet. Should I talk about it now or in the next section? No, I'm gonna save it for the coming soon section. So I'm not gonna say that after each project, but they are all free, but what I'm about to, so I'm not gonna say it through, I don't know, did I? I don't know, just search pot holder, you'll find it. This one's about 13, it's about 4.5 or so inches deep, or this way, wide. So the first one I have here is the Heartland tote. That one matches Heartland tote. So the first one I'm gonna show you, should I scoot over more? Okay, hang on, Bodie needs out. I don't know if you can hear the ringing, but that's his let me outside. Unfortunately, he's probably gonna want back in about 30 seconds, so. You go, Bodie. Okay. I did not do a border, did I? No, I added one. I also have Hearts in Bloom, which we put out for February, which I put out, why do I say we? It's me. Anyway, and my testers. Okay, we. And this one is probably one of my favorites. It features cute little wheelbarrows with a patchwork, is it patchwork? No. It features cute, this pattern is part of my series that this pattern is part of they just aren't on paper yet, so I don't want to totally commit, so maybe cut that out.